You're welcome to Adkwart Studios. I want you to just listen to this video. I was shocked when I listened to this video. And I was asking myself, why is this true? That they tried to poison Ibrahim Traoré? And how? And who? And when? This is getting serious. It's a long video and I want you to listen and pay attention. And you see, we have to ask ourselves, what is wrong with black man? Why? Don't we want to be free from these oppressors? Poison him. I want you to pay attention. And you see, this is a case study that you must be very, very careful with people around you. Must be very, very careful, because they can, this white, the so-called white and Western, they can't come with their guns and whatever they have, but they try to use people. And how they got to communicate with these people. Let's pay attention and listen to this video, please.
President Ibrahim Traoré's lips met the first bite of his evening meal. He felt something was wrong. President Ibrahim Traoré's lips met the first bite of his evening meal. He felt something was wrong in his body. The blood in his veins froze. First, a burning in his throat, then a pressure in his chest. Everyone in the dining room stood still. He had been poisoned. But who had done it? The guards? The chefs? His trusted advisors? Worst of all, would he ever see the rising sun again? The dining hall in the presidential palace in Ouagadougou was usually a calm and orderly place. That evening had started that way too. Ibrahim Traoré was finally able to eat his dinner after a long day. As usual, he had several close advisors at his table. "We have the opening of the water project in the northern region this week," said Economy Minister Coulibaly, looking at the notes in his file. "The villagers are waiting for you eagerly," Traoré nodded, taking a fork of the traditional Burkina dish consisting of rice and fried chicken. "The drinking water project is the 32nd of the 50 new projects we promised," said Traoré as he brought the fork to his mouth. "To reach our goal, we need to—" He couldn't complete his sentence. He suddenly felt a burning in his throat. A pressure began in his chest, a warmth that slowly spread throughout his body. His vision blurred. His ears began to ring. "Mr. President, are you all right?" asked Interior Minister Kabore. Traoré couldn't answer. He reached for his glass, but his hand was trembling and the glass tipped over. Something was terribly wrong. "The president has been poisoned! Call a doctor!" shouted Kabore, jumping to his feet. The hall suddenly turned to chaos. Guards rushed in. Ministers stood up. Voices rose. Traoré was trying to maintain consciousness, but everything was becoming blurry. "Seal the palace," ordered Security Chief Ouedraogo. "No one comes in, no one goes out. This is an assassination attempt." Ouedraogo rushed to Traoré's side. The president was now shaking, struggling to breathe. "Hold on, Mr. President. Help is on the way," he whispered. The palace health team arrived within minutes. Dr. Zongo checked Traoré's pupils, felt his pulse. "It's chemical poisoning," he said in a tense voice. "He needs to be taken to the hospital immediately." The last thing Traoré heard before losing consciousness was Dr. Zongo saying, "The poison is spreading quickly. We're running out of time." The special section of the Burkina Faso Central Military Hospital was closed off with heavy security measure. The corridors were filled with armed soldiers. In a special room, Ibrahim Traoré was fighting for his life. Machines attached to his body monitored his vital functions. Outside the hospital, news had begun to spread. Hundreds of people had gathered, praying. On social media, the hashtag pray for Traoré had become a global trend. "It's the work of Western powers," some protesters shouted. "Traoré was too dangerous for them for our independence." "No, it's traitors from within," others responded. "Snakes living in the palace." Whatever the truth, Burkina Faso's young leader was fighting for his life, and the country was holding its breath, waiting. In the corridor outside the hospital room, Security Chief Ouedraogo, Interior Minister Kabore, and Prime Minister Diallo had gathered. "What's the situation?" asked Diallo with deep concern on his face. "Critical but stable," said Dr. Zongo, showing the report in his hand. "The poison is very sophisticated. The laboratory analysis is ongoing. Such a poison couldn't be made by an ordinary person." "This is an assassination attempt," said Ouedraogo, lowering his voice. "And it must be from the inside. Who prepared the president's food? Who was at the table? We must investigate everything. Everyone. We must keep calm," said Prime Minister Diallo. "Panic and accusations will harm us. The most important thing now is the president's survival and the country's stability." Kabore nodded. "But the investigation must also begin. Everyone in the palace is a suspect, from the chefs to the advisors, from the guards to the servant. I'm afraid," said Ouedraogo in a tense voice, "that we are also on the list of suspects." The corridor suddenly became silent. The three men looked at each other. Trust had become as explosive as a bomb dropped on the palace. "We must take action," said Diallo. "Who will conduct the investigation? The palace police? The army? National intelligence?" Ouedraogo thought. "None of them will work. In all of them, there are those loyal to the president as well as enemies. We need to find someone from outside." "But who?" asked Kabore. "Who can we trust?" At that moment, in a modest house in the suburbs of Ouagadougou, a 63-year-old man was listening to the news on the radio. His name was Maurice Sankara, the former intelligence chief of Burkina Faso. 3 years ago, one of Traoré's first acts had been to remove him from office. "It is confirmed that President Ibrahim Traoré has been poisoned," said the announcer on the radio. "His condition is described as critical." Sankara took a deep breath. There had been a lot of history between him and Traoré. Traoré had accused him of collaborating with the French, removed him from office, and sentenced him to house arrest. For the past year, he had regained partial freedom, but was still under surveillance. The ringing of the phone interrupted his thoughts. The caller was a former colleague. "Maurice, they will contact you," said the voice. "Be ready." "Who?" asked Sankara with surprise. "Those in the palace. They will call you to investigate the poisoning." Sankara laughed. "Don't be ridiculous. Traoré hates me. He accused me of treason." "Maybe," said the other man, "but right now he doesn't know who to trust inside. There's only one reason he would want you." "What's that?" "That your hatred for him is known by everyone. If even you can prove that you didn't want to kill him, he can find the real culprit." Maurice Sankara's prediction proved correct. The next morning, his door was knocked. Outside, 2 cars from the presidential convoy were waiting. "Mr. Sankara, there are people who want to see you," said a young officer. Sankara nodded. He was expecting this. He quickly got ready and got into the cars. The convoy went directly to the military hospital. In the hospital corridor, Prime Minister Diallo, Security Chief Ouedraogo, and Interior Minister Kabore were waiting. All three had the same expression on their faces: concern, suspicion, and slight embarrassment. "Mr. Sankara," said Diallo, extending his hand. "Thank you for coming." Sankara didn't shake his hand. "Did I have a choice, Mr. Prime Minister? I was once accused of treason, and now, as I understand, you need my help." "The country needs your help," said Kabore. "The president is in critical condition, and someone tried to kill him. Someone from the inside," added Ouedraogo. "The food was prepared and served in the palace. Everyone is a suspect." Sankara gave a cold look. "And why me? You kept me in isolation for 3 years. Traoré ruined my career and reputation." "That's exactly why," said Diallo. "If even one of the president's greatest enemies wants to save him, we can find the real culprit." Sankara thought, this was a perfect opportunity for revenge. If Traoré died, perhaps his own life would return to normal. But this was a sinister attack, not something to be done even to an enemy. "What happened?" asked Sankara. "Tell me the details." "Yesterday evening at an official dinner, the president showed signs of poisoning after the first few bites," said Kabore. "Laboratory analyses are ongoing, but initial results point to an exotic and rare poison. We are investigating everything and everyone in the palace. You have full authority in this operation, said Diallo. You will have access to all records, personnel, security cameras, but you will report the results to us first, completed Ouedraogo. We don't want to create panic. Sankara nodded understandingly. Can I see the president? The three men looked at each other in surprise. Why? Asked Kabore suspiciously. Because I want to understand the poison, said Sankara. The symptoms, effects, severity. This will give me an idea about the type of poison and its possible source. Under intense security measures, Sankara was admitted to the room where the president was receiving special treatment. Ibrahim Traoré was lying in bed, pale, attached to machines, and defenseless. The man who had removed him from office and sent him into exile 3 years ago was now fighting for his life. Give us 10 minutes, said Sankara to the doctors and nurses in the room. When the medical team left, Sankara slowly approached the bed. He looked at Ibrahim Traoré's face. His eyes were closed, but his chest was rising and falling slightly. He was alive. You know, Mr. President, said Sankara slowly, I never liked you. When you removed me from office, I wished for your death, but not like this. He paused thoughtfully. It is more honorable to defeat an enemy by looking into their eyes than to poison them in the shadows. The monitors were beeping regularly. Traoré's condition was stable, but critical. Who poisoned you? And why? Sankara murmured. I will find out. Not for you, but for my own honor. Sankara examined Traoré's medical reports. The poison was fast, but not lethal. This was a conscious choice. Not to kill, but to harm. Why? Just then Traoré's eyes opened slightly. He was struggling to focus, but recognized Sankara. You, he whispered in a weak voice. So it was you. I didn't poison you, Sankara said quickly. I'm here to save you. Why? Asked Traoré, barely speaking. Because whoever poisoned you is also harming Burkina Faso, said Sankara. And I don't betray my country. Traoré's eyes closed again. His consciousness faded. Sankara took a deep breath and left the room. In the corridor, Ouedraogo was waiting. What did you learn? The poison is quite complex, said Sankara thoughtfully. It must have been prepared in a laboratory by a skilled chemist. The symptoms are specific. First burning in the throat, then general weakness, trembling, mental fogginess. What does this tell us? Asked Ouedraogo. The poison's purpose wasn't to kill, said Sankara. If it were, the president would be dead already. This is a warning. A message. Ouedraogo frowned. From whom? Why? That's what I need to investigate in the palace, said Sankara. And I must start immediately. Give me information about everyone in the palace. Chefs, waiters, guards, advisors, cleaners. I want to know everything. We've prepared the files, said Ouedraogo, handing him a tablet. Here are detailed information on 342 people working in the palace. The east wing of the presidential palace had been transformed into a temporary investigation center. Maurice Sankara was examining files around a table. With him were 2 former intelligence officers he had chosen to assist him. 2 people who had remained loyal to him and whom Traoré had not dismissed. Now, said Sankara, I first want to understand the food chain, how the food is prepared in the palace, how it comes to the president's table, step by step. Ouedraogo had the palace chef brought in. Chef Bamana was standing before them with trembling hands. Mr. Bamana, said Sankara in a kind voice, don't be afraid. We don't think anything happened to you. We just want to understand the processes. The chef nodded, somewhat relieved. I have been working in the palace for 14 years, sir. I have served 3 presidents. I prepared President Traoré's meal, as always. Rice, fried chicken, and vegetable. The president's favorite meal. Where do you get the ingredients from? Asked Sankara. From the palace's own farm, said the chef. For security, all food is specially grown. Every shipment is checked. And how does the food come to the table after it's prepared? By the waiters, said the chef. Yesterday evening, it was Suleiman who brought the food to the president's table. A trusted waiter of 8 years. Sankara took notes. And who was at the president's table last night? Interior Minister Kabore, Economy Minister Koulibaly, Security Chief Ouedraogo, and Foreign Minister Zida, said the chef. And of course, President Traoré. Sankara dismissed the chef and turned to Ouedraogo. Find waiter Suleiman, immediately. However, Suleiman was nowhere to be found. The investigation team learned that he had been missing since last night. His house was empty, his phone was off. Here's our suspect, said Ouedraogo. Classic. Commit the crime, run. Sankara shook his head. That would be too easy. The waiter is probably dead. He might be the one who carried the poison, but we need to find the mastermind behind it. Where do we start then? Asked one of his assistants. The waiter's family, friends, said Sankara. Who did he meet with in recent days? Did he have any unusual expenses? A new phone, watch, car? Was a large sum of money deposited into a bank account? The team quickly took action. In the search of the waiter's house, no valuable items were found, but in a hidden compartment in the bedroom, there was an envelope containing foreign currency, 10,000 euros. Evidence, said Ouedraogo, but we don't know who gave it. Give me the security camera footage of the palace, said Sankara. I want to see everything from the past week. In the security room of the palace, Sankara and his team spent hours watching security camera footage. They tracked all the movements of waiter Solimane. Stop, said Sankara suddenly. Last Tuesday, 1432, Solimane is talking to someone in the back garden of the palace. The person on the screen was one of the palace advisors, Hamidou Savadogo, the foreign relations advisor. Zoom in, said Sankara. Savadogo was giving a small envelope to the waiter. There's the person who gave the money, said Ouedraogo. Maybe, said Sankara, but I'm not sure if he's the poisoner. Find Savadogo and bring him in. Savadogo was found in the west wing of the palace in his own office. When he was brought to the interrogation room, he appeared calm. Mr. Savadogo, said Sankara, what did you discuss with waiter Solimane in the back garden last Tuesday? What? Asked Savadogo, appearing surprised. Oh, I gave him a small gift. His mother was sick. I wanted to help. 10,000 euros, said Sankara. Quite a generous gift. Savadogo's facial expression didn't change. So what? Can't I do what I want with my own money? Of course you can, said Sankara. But it's an interesting timing. The waiter receives money, then the president is poisoned, and the waiter disappears. Do you have an explanation for this? Savadogo began to look uncomfortable. I didn't poison anyone, and I don't know where Solimane is. Then why did you withdraw 50,000 euros from your overseas bank account 2 weeks ago? Asked Sankara, showing a document. Savadogo's eyes widened. You investigated my accounts? 3 hours ago. You had a reservation at a hotel in Paris, Sankara continued. You were about to flee the country. Savadogo jumped to his feet. I was just a middleman, I swear. Who's middleman? Asked Sankara, without raising his voice. I can't say, said Savadogo, sweat forming on his forehead. They'll kill me. Sankara leaned forward. Mr. Savadogo, if President Traoré dies, this will be an assassination. Chaos will break out in the country, and you will be the primary suspect in this assassination. Life imprisonment, maybe even death penalty. Now I ask you one last time, who commissioned you? Savadogo remained silent for a while, then surrendered. An official from the French Foreign Ministry. His name is Pierre Dumont. We met at a conference in Paris 2 months ago. He approached me, offered collaboration. What kind of collaboration? Influencing Burkina Faso's Western policy. Preventing President Traoré from getting closer to Russia and China. Gathering information. And what did he pay you for this? 5,000 euros per month, said Savadogo. But then they asked more of me. To poison Traoré, said Sankara. Savadogo nodded. But not to kill him. Just to make him sick. The poison wasn't lethal, I swear. He would be sick for a few weeks, during which time the Prime Minister would take over the administration and sign some agreements. Which agreements? Returning gold rights to French mining companies. Renewal of the military base agreement. New economic partnerships. Sankara looked at Savadogo with a cold expression. And Solimane? Where is he? I don't know, said Savadogo, trembling. I gave him the poison and he put it in the food. After implementing the plan, he was supposed to escape. He was also paid. Hours later, Maurice Sankara met with Prime Minister Diallo, Security Chief Ouedraogo, and Interior Minister Kabore. He told them what they had discovered. So the French, said Diallo thoughtfully. They were disturbed by Burkina Faso's new independent policy. Savadogo has been arrested, said Ouedraogo. But the real culprits are beyond our borders. We've started a search everywhere for the waiter, said Kabore. But he may have escaped. He didn't escape, said Sankara in a definitive voice. They killed him. They cleaned up the traces. What should we do? Asked Diallo. Should we make this information public? Not yet, said Sankara. First, we should wait for the president to recover. And I have a plan. Sankara proposed a plan to trap the French Foreign Ministry official Pierre Dumont. Savadogo would tell Dumont that Traoré's condition had worsened and that the Prime Minister had temporarily taken over. Dumont would come to Burkina Faso secretly to sign the agreements, and then he would be caught. A risky plan, said Kabore worriedly. But if it works, we will clearly document the French intervention, said Sankara, and President Traoré will emerge stronger from this situation. At the hospital, Ibrahim Traoré's condition was slowly improving. Doctors reported that the effect of the poison was beginning to diminish. His consciousness was returning intermittently, but he still wasn't fully recovered. Sankara visited the hospital twice a day to check on Traoré's condition. On the third day, Traoré stayed awake longer and was able to talk with Sankara. "How do you feel, Mr. President?" asked Sankara, sitting on the edge of the bed. "Like I've been hit by a truck," said Traoré in a weak voice. "But I'm alive. Who did this?" Sankara told him about the events. All the information about waiter Solimain, advisor Savadogo, and the French official Dumont. Traoré listened silently. "So the French are still trying to control our country," he said finally. "Our independence and rights over our resources disturb them." "Mr. President," said Sankara hesitantly, "we have a plan to catch the people who poisoned you, but it's risky." "Tell me," said Traoré, interest sparking in his eyes. Sankara explained the plan to trap Dumont. They would spread the lie that Traoré's condition had worsened, and there might even be news of his death for a while. This would cause those involved in the conspiracy to come out. "Do it," said Traoré determinedly. "We need to know who wants to govern us, who wants to control us." The plan was quickly put into action. The next day, the Burkina Faso Ministry of Health announced that President Traoré's condition had worsened. In the first press release, it was stated that he was in critical and unstable condition, and in the second announcement that he had been put on life support. Savadogo sent a controlled message from his cell. He informed Pierre Dumont that the situation was more serious than expected and that the president would probably die within a few days. Prime Minister Diallo has now temporarily taken over the administration. He's ready to sign the agreements, he wrote. All security units in Burkina Faso were on alert, but this high alert status was kept secret. A special operations team was on standby under Sankara's direct command. 2 days later, international radio and television channels announced the shocking news. Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traoré has died. This was a planned false report, but its effect was immediate. In the capital Ouagadougou, thousands of people took to the streets, crying, praying, angry. The sudden loss of a young leader had plunged the entire country into mourning. Within hours, a diplomat from the French embassy in Ouagadougou entered the country. This was Pierre Dumont, introduced as his assistant. As a matter of protocol, he would have a condolence meeting with Prime Minister Diallo. A special meeting room had been prepared in the Prime Minister's building. Diallo, Maurice Sankara, and 2 security officers were there. When Dumont entered, there was a fake expression of sadness on his face. "Mr. Prime Minister," said the French diplomat, "on behalf of the French Republic, I offer my condolences for the loss of President Traoré. We are with you in this difficult time." Diallo nodded. "Thank you, Mr. Dumont. Please sit down. We have things to discuss." Dumont gave Sankara a suspicious look. "This should be a private meeting, shouldn't it?" "Mr. Sankara is my security advisor," said Diallo. "And our topics today are precisely about security." "As you wish," said Dumont, trying to appear comfortable. "Mr. Dumont," said Diallo, "it's very kind of you to come specially from Paris, especially since you don't have an official position." Dumont's expression changed. "What do you mean? I am a senior diplomat of the French embassy." "No, you're not," said Sankara, opening a folder. "You are an operative of the French Foreign Intelligence Service, and you're conducting intelligence activities in our country." Dumont's face paled. "This is nonsense." "Last night," said Sankara, "you had a 20-minute phone conversation with Hamidou Savadogo. We recorded your conversation." Sankara pressed a button, and the audio recording began to play. Dumont's voice was clearly audible. "Are you sure? Is Traoré really dead? This is great news. I'm coming right away to get the agreement signed." Dumont's face was now completely white. This could be fabricated." "Mr. Dumont," said Diallo in a serious voice, "you are charged with attempted assassination of a head of state on Burkina Faso territory." Dumont frantically stood up. "I have diplomatic immunity. You can't touch me." Sankara also stood up. "You're not a diplomat. You're an intelligence operative, and you're part of an assassination plot." At that moment, the side door of the room opened, and Ibrahim Traoré walked in. His face was still pale. He was slightly stumbling as he walked, but he was alive and standing. Dumont was in shock. This This is impossible. I'm stronger than you thought, Mr. Dumont, said Traoré in a calm voice. And so is Burkina Faso. Dumont was arrested and exposed before the international press. The French ambassador was urgently called to the country and forced to make a statement. The French government claimed that Dumont acted individually and did not represent France's official policy, but no one believed this explanation. Ibrahim Traoré addressed the public and told them about his experience. He described the poisoning attempt as an attack on Burkina Faso's independence and sovereignty. This incident has shown us, said Traoré, that independence is not easily won. We need to struggle every day, at every step, but it has also shown that if we detect betrayals among ourselves and recognize our true friends, no external power can defeat us. With a surprising decision, Traoré appointed Maurice Sankara as the National Security Advisor. This meant bringing the man he had dismissed 3 years ago to the position he trusted most. After the press conference, Traoré and Sankara were left alone. Why? Asked Sankara. Why do you trust me? I could have betrayed you. Traoré smiled. But you didn't. I knew that your hatred for me was less than your love for your country. 6 months after the assassination attempt, Burkina Faso was in a stronger position. The French military base had been removed from the country. Mining rights had been reorganized. Ibrahim Traoré and Maurice Sankara were ensuring the country's progress on the path to independence. One evening, while standing on the balcony of the presidential palace, Traoré turned to Sankara. You know, Maurice, sometimes the greatest enemies can become the best allies. Sankara nodded thoughtfully. Because a real enemy, at least, is honest. Their motivations are clear. Exactly, said Traoré. And now I understand that dismissing you 3 years ago was a mistake. You were just following a different path, but the goal was the same. Burkina Faso's independence. Perhaps the poison was a medicine for us, said Sankara thoughtfully. Sometimes the difference between poison and medicine is just the dose. Ibrahim Traoré looked at the sun on the horizon. And sometimes the truth itself is poisonous, but at the same time, it is the only
external power or no external strength can destroy Africa if Africa will stand as a body. Now, my question is, when are we going to grow? When are we going to grow as continent, as Africa? Let me sound this one into Burkina Faso. If you brought this man out or kill him, which you will not be able to do, nature will not forgive you. Nature will not forgive you, and your generation will not forgive you. Yeah, are you hearing this as a vision or as a dream? Why? The story of Ibrahim Traoré is like David who killed Goliath, and his own people stood against him, trying to kill David because he killed Goliath, the enemy of Israel. What is wrong with black man? Why are you trying to poison him? Why? Because he's doing the right thing. And get this into your mind. The Western love those corrupt leaders. Yeah. They are happy with the corrupt leaders. They don't want to see Africa to come out from poverty. And if you're a Muslim, please, I would like to read a verse in the Bible for Ibrahim Traoré. Psalm 140. So I'm using figurative for Ibrahim Traoré as David. Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Deliver me from the evil around Ibrahim Traoré. Preserve me from a violent man. May God preserve the president who is light, star for Africa. which imagine mischief in their heart. No. The white man from France can never poison him if he have not let his hand upon the people around Ibrahim Traoré. So God should preserve him from a violent man, wicked men, which imagine mischief in their heart continue, and they gather together for war. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent, like snakes. There are snakes around Ibrahim Traoré. We pray that we find divine poison to kill the snakes around Ibrahim Traoré. Verse number 4. Keep me, O Lord, from the hand of the wicked. Keep Ibrahim Traoré from the hand of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who had proposed to overthrow my going. Their plan is overthrown him. Their plan. And if you are Burkina Bay, what's wrong with you? Don't you have conscience? Can't you see what is going on Burkina Faso? You're sick in the mind, you're sick. You want to poison such a man? And after poisoning him, you like to. Because you have been promised that they will pay you every month. There you are. There you are. Who have proposed to overthrow my goings. The proud had had a snare for me, and a card. And they have spread their net by the wayside. They have spread the net. It's not just one person. Continually, every day, their aims and objective is to overthrow him. Oh, Africa. When are we going to grow? When are we going to mature in the mind that these people have deceived us for all these years? When are we going to grow? When? It's very painful. A man was reviving the whole continent and the people around him. People around him, not just, a day, every day, their aim is to overthrow him. You sick man. And anybody who try you'll be arrested. There's no two ways. The whole continent is standing with Ibrahim Traoré, except the wicked ones, except the corrupt ones. Now, my family, I mean, can't be another, of course, what kind of ruffle. When say I rose empire, me tear and I'm my game say, I had this different another. She said, you see, the whole thing. Was yes, no, I'm a baby in Sue near or more being Sue. Into Wayan and Tamako or the Dino Aqua, I feel the Adrian year on the echo for me. I'm dying. And you be before you need that. I be before you need that. Do what Jessica na Ukumobia. I'm on your phone, you can go on me. Ebi wa Ghana ha, ebi wa Nigeria, ebi wa again. Me you know how many you. After the omu answer for my after the omu answer that be Yamano a withdraw. Tina was a omutum recording choir sabia. I don't know what church you must know. Na say I don't call what is happening at Burkina Faso as a coup leader, but it's a divine intervention. Now, what is going on within West Africa is divine visitation. So you people should not joke with it. It's a movement. And you can't stop it. You can't stop it. Don't waste your time. If they will give you the whole France, let me tell you, you can't. Why can't, this Western leave Africa alone? Why? Why? Hey, yo. Na obi abranti ade papa opeso ye nti o yire wo ma won kwala miensa na mo prana anya de ndi po bedidi obenum nti kwaye faso se yamfetu anku a aduane a wudie na ankasa se papa we why no one gini ndi bie. How can this man trust why na on gini ndi bie. Why na on gini ndi bie. Now, who can be trusted around Ibrahim Traoré? Who can be trusted? Huh? And the abandon obi in yam Africa, so we drama Africa because we are one crop for now. They be cool. Abba. This will not even happen in the Endman's kingdom. Emwa kurum kura no mo nyesa emwa kurum kura mo nyesa na ebeda no mo nsre de o meka se o sakrofo o diska bi sha on se mo ma bi kunkum ye ho and they will tell within like, these people they are so weak. When you give them just a token, they will. And a woman for Sakwan we swa bepimene and a yansu nintida. Shine your eye, begin to grow as black man and behave as a black man. A day, the 54 nations will come together as one body. Let me tell you. There will be no continent like Africa in the world. They know. That is why they are using any strategy. And let me sound this warning to them. You have failed. And you will fail every day. Because you can't fight against God. It's God's time for Africa to arise. It's God's time. This is our time. This is our time. Because what is going on now is unprecedented for a young man. A young military. This man is not a politician. His background, no. And it's enlightening the whole continent. You want to kill him? Now, but the crop for a child who is Siamo man. Hey, what do you want? You are wicked. The Bible says the poison. Just they are like snakes. And let me run up with this. There's snakes around Ibrahim Traoré. Our one merchant who I want more baby out. Ghana see what my emma. I'm on pesa a bibi my becosono. Our woman what you are there. Mobile what it. Mundi nine what to because out. Move your mafruso. May God protect this young man. May God save him from the hand of the wicked. They are so wicked. You want to kill the vision of Africa? You want to kill the vision of Africa? That the vision of Africa lies on Ibrahim Traoré. You don't kill our vision, please. Now, Ibrahim Traoré is not just for Burkina Faso. It's for Africa. Me tie some story. Me yura hosa. Say, I be before Adai. Timon Padipa. The enemies of progress. Enemies of progress. Did you want to Burkina Faso better than in Futros Adabia? Burkina Faso have built their own within this short time. And the Burkina Faso, and yama amoya ohon mo na ehu na siabro ebeshimo. The engineers are not from China, they are not from Russia. They use their own people to build Elipre. Hey. Africa, we are blessed. We are blessed. Ma woni nyi so ye bibini so ati. Na nya dwin se nyame ammo se nipakum and I knew ye. Nya dwin se won so you can cultivate the land and bring something out of it. When you mean sure na omo ye bai hu bai bo any tie. Bye bye.